reaction that we are expecting? We've heard from those three reporters now. What are people on the ground saying about the extension of the renewal of driver's license by the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula? One of the first reactions has come from the Automobile Association, that's the AA, welcoming the driver's license extension, but saying remedial measures must be implemented now. Well, let's find out what those measures are. I'm joined now by AA spokesperson Leighton Beard. Leighton, good afternoon. Yes, you are welcoming. That's good. I'm sure everybody is relieved. But you are pointing out that urgent action is needed in a number of areas and that you are concerned about maybe the pace of implementation going forward.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Dan. It's good to be with you. I mean, if you look at the numbers as they are at the moment, it's people whose licenses have expired up until the 31st of August 2021. We can't forget that come 1st of September, we're going to have a whole new batch of people whose licenses have expired outside of the grace period, and month on month until the end of March next year, they will also need to have those documents renewed. And so it's just going to accrue and make the system heavier and put more pressure on the system. So when we look at remedial actions, as what the Minister has announced, making NATIS faster and making it available at the DLTCs, because many times, unfortunately, it's offline, which is a huge problem, making sure that there's enough capacity in the form of people who are working at those centres. Obviously, the operating hours are being extended. That's a good thing. But do the systems and do the technologies speak to making the system better? And if they do, then when are those technologies and systems going to be put in place? We know that some things are going to become active on the 1st of October, but in terms of the IT, in terms of the structures, in terms of the machines that are at those centres, Dan, they need to happen immediately. Otherwise, the problem that we've got at the moment is just going to be something that's with us over and over again. We can extend it until we blue in the face. It's just pushing the problem further down the line. The problem being we need a whole new system.
The online booking system, for instance, in Gauteng, the minister said is going to be improved. Surely that's a good thing because it has been pointed to as a problem. But you've also noted the minister's admission that there's an issue of capacity at these drivers' licensing testing centres, as they call them, DLTCs.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, and of course. You know, we can have an online booking system that works perfectly. But if the number of machines at the DLTCs are not working and can't service X amount of people, then whether the online booking system works or not is almost irrelevant. You need a system that is responsive, that can work well for the people of the province of Gauteng. So obviously we need to root out corruption, and that's something that has to deal with people buying and selling of slots to their friends because it's just easier for them to do that. That needs to be rooted out. At the same time, the eye machines need to work. The fingerprint machines need to work. The ID verification machines need to work. All of these things need to work in harmony, and there need to be people to operate them, obviously. So it's not just a question of extension. It's a question of how do we fix permanently going into the future.
Yeah, and of course that small matter of the eye tests having been to be submitted online might also assist. I mean, the backlog of 2.8 million licenses makes me think, unless some of those measures you are mentioning are addressed urgently, this is likely to last beyond March, the backlog.
Yeah, it's absolutely, Dan. I think you're very correct in your assessment. And I just want to make the point that, you know, we can blame COVID as much as we like, but these problems existed before COVID hit. When COVID hit, it just made everybody more aware of the problem, and it certainly didn't help ease any pressure. But the problems have been there for a number of years. And we've been saying for a number of years as the AA, we need a lasting solution. And what is that lasting solution? Let's enable online payments, as the Minister announced today. And let's not announce it a week before the deadline is. Let's get that system active in the months ahead of the deadline arriving. So we need to be able to make online payments. Let's involve the private sector in terms of where people can go collect their licenses once they have been renewed. Let's make sure that the NATIS system is responsive and is working properly and is never offline. And let's make sure that we have enough people who are trained at the DLTCs to ensure that the experience of the motorist is a good one. At the end of the day, Dan, we've got to worry about one group of people, and that is citizens of not only Gauteng, but of all the provinces who need to have these documents renewed. We can't make the system easier for anybody but them. And that, I think, is at the root of what the AA has been calling for a number of years. This needs to be fixed, and unless it's fixed quickly, we're going to have the same problems in March, no doubt.
Leighton Beard, speaking on behalf of the Automobile Association of South Africa, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining us here on the Midday View on eNCA.